There is definitely a lack of childcare in this community. People are constantly looking for someone to watch their child or children. My mom has been working in the daycare business in Wadena for 10 years now. She first started out working at the Daycare Center Kids Club, which is in the M State building. She now does home daycare. Throughout all of these past 10 years, I remember her always talking about how there is nowhere near enough daycares in this community. She was, and still is, getting calls from people all the time asking her if she has any openings. She sometimes even gets random people knocking on our door, hoping she has room for their children. I think that there are a number of different reasons as to why there is a lack of childcare, and I'm going to go into deeper meaning for each of those reasons. The first reason would be that doing daycare out of your home can really suck sometimes. I would know this firsthand. People always think daycare providers have it so easy because they just get to sit at home all day and hang out with kids. That's not always the case. These people don't realize that daycare providers are doing so much more than just hanging out with kids. They have to change diapers, feed the kids, discipline them, teach them new things, work with kids on behavior problems, and they're never able to leave their house. And most of the time, they are the only adult there all day, so they lack the time they need to socialize with other adults. It also sucks doing daycare out of your own house because of all the toys, high chairs, and baby stuff take up a lot of room. So in my case, we have a pretty small house, and in almost every single room of the house, you will find daycare stuff. It definitely takes away from your living space. The next reason why there's not enough daycares in this community is because of all the crazy rules and regulations. I talked with my mom about these, and she listed off a few of them. One of them being, you are required to have an updated and filled first aid kit always readily available at all times. You have to be trained in all emergency first aid care regularly and have to have the large size fire extinguisher checked and updated annually, and stored in a safe place readily available. All carbon monoxide and smoke detectors need to be in a place and checked monthly. You have to practice fire and storm drills each month with the daycare children. Also, if you use a substitute or helper for your daycare, they need to be trained in first aid and CPR. And they need to have sudden unexpected infant death training, shaken baby training, and child development behavior guidance training each year. Business paperwork needs to be updated and ready at any time for any unannounced visits to your home. This includes attendance records, food information, the children files with updated immunization records, family and enrollment papers, and contract papers. You are also required to renew your daycare license yearly. So to some people, that might get annoying and they might not want to do daycare anymore. It can also be very time-consuming. This also means you have to get your house inspected for safety reasons yearly too. When you get your house inspected, they check every single room in your house that you would possibly use for daycare at any time. All cribs or pack-and-plays have to be completely hole-free. Even the smallest of holes could make you fail your inspection. Anything that a baby would sit in has to have working buckles. You have to have covers on all of your outlets. All chemicals and cleaning supplies, as well as any sharp objects, have to be out of the children's reach. If you have anything in your lower cupboards that children shouldn't be able to get into, you have to have some type of lock on your cupboards. You are required to take training courses 20 hours per year. There are some required classes, which include CPR and first aid, sudden unexpected infant death, shaken baby, child behavior, safety, and car seat safety. Beyond those required courses, you can choose any other courses they offer to fill up your 20 hours. It depends on the type of license you get for daycare, but the typical amount of children you are allowed to have, if it's just you doing daycare, is 10 kids. You can have 2 infants and 1 toddler, or else 1 infant and 2 toddlers, and then 5 preschool age and 2 school age. A toddler is considered anyone under 2 years old. So once the child is over 2, they are considered a preschooler. The number of children they are allowed to have might also contribute to why there's a lack of childcare. If they could have more children, there would be less people looking for childcare. Like I said before, we have a pretty small house. It is hard to fit all of the things you need for daycare in just one room. So we have some type of daycare stuff all over our house in almost every single room. This is what you see when you first walk in our front door. It is the cubbies for all of the daycare children. There is also a coat rack, a shoe bin, and a bench. Next is our living room. It is full of toys and space for the kids to play. There is also an ABC rug. This is also in our living room. More toys and sleeping bags, which the kids use for rest time. This is what would be considered our dining room. We do not have a table at all in our house. The kids use the trays to sit at when they eat, and when my family eats, we usually just sit on the couch or go to our rooms. This is also part of the dining room and the start of our hallway. Those bins are full of art supplies for the kids. This is the hallway right outside of my room. It takes up a lot of room and is very easy to stub your toes on. This is in my mom's room. We have no room for it anywhere else in the house, so the baby gets to sleep in her room. This is also in my mom's bedroom. This is where she keeps all of her daycare files. It is like a mini office in her bedroom. This is why it can be annoying doing daycare out of your home. You don't have much living space left for you and your family to use. We only have 3 chairs in our living room, and we have 5 people living in our house. Most of the time, some of us just end up sitting on the floor. All of these are reasons as to why there is such a lack of childcare in Wadena, Minnesota.